clear. Great. I think we are good to go. Let's wait and see if we can get more participants joining us soon. Okay. Okay. Am I live on YouTube? Okay. Good. Okay. That's fine. Um, okay, guys. I'm gonna share my screen now so I can see what's going on my screen as well. And I'm also gonna turn on my video now. Phil, you can turn off the phone. All right, guys. I hope my video is also clear. Let me know whether my video is clear, and let's just get started. Okay, so let me see who is online now. Okay, we have some participants online right now. We have Phil, we have Joseph, and other people who are about to join. All right, guys, thanks for joining today too. And I hope this session is going to be more informative and you are going to learn more from this session, right? And okay, so I'll start by giving a shout out to the sponsors of this webinar. That's M Trading. M Trading is a Forex broker, right? And M Trading is giving a free bonus of 200% bonus on everyone who deposits first on their platform. Okay, so if you aren't on any broker now or you want to change your broker, you can just sign up to mtrading.com, and you can create an account with them. And after creating an account with them, your first deposits you make on your account, you are going to get 200%. And I think that's an amazing offer, right? All right, guys. And thanks once again for joining this webinar today. And today, what we're going to talk about is how to trade and make profits during this COVID-19 season, during this pandemic. We are not in normal times. And because of that, you have to adjust or make some changes or some tweaks in how you place your trades. Because if you place trades as you normally do, there's a high probability that you're going to, blow your account or you're going to lose money, right? So as we are in this pandemic and the market is changing, you have to also change so that you can still make profit in the market. Okay, so that's going to be the topic for today, and I'm also going to show you a very simple strategy I use during this season to make profits in the market. And it's a popular strategy that most traders use. And during this Corona season too, it has really made a lot of traders money. Okay, so if you are able to capitalize on this strategy we are going to talk about today, it's going to be more helpful to you, and you can also make profit with it in the forex markets. Guys, please, I would like you to let me know whether you can hear and see me clearly. It's very important. I don't want to be talking and talking and you wouldn't be able to hear or see me clearly. So let me know. You can just raise up a hand, or you can just type it in the chat section, or even the questions and answers section, for me to be able to know that you can see and hear me clearly. Okay, so I'll be waiting for that before we continue. Else, if I continue and people can see and hear me clearly, I think that's going to be a cost 90 work. All right, so I'm waiting. Let me know whether my audio is clear and my video is also clear. All right, okay. All right, thanks for the confirmations, Carmen. You can see and hear me clearly. I appreciate that very well from everyone who texted that to me. Okay, so with that said, I think we can just go straight into today's topic and and learn what we have for today. Okay, so during this coronavirus season, right? I must say when all this coronavirus stuff started escalating, that was the time I just came back to Ghana. Okay, so I was lucky and I was saved out of all those quarantines and stuff, right? I was fortunate. Okay, but some people weren't in Ghana by then, and when they had to come down, they had to do a couple of tests and go into quarantine and stuff. And during this coronavirus season, it has affected all economies, even the big economies we know, that's the UK, the US, Germany, and stuff. All those economies are affected by this coronavirus pandemic. Okay, and developing countries like us, we've also bleed a lot from this coronavirus pandemic, and the market is also bleeding from this coronavirus pandemic. Okay, so most people reach out to me sometimes in my inbox or email or telegram and ask me that, do I trade during this coronavirus season? Because there's crazy volatility going on in the markets. There's crazy volatility going on in the market, and due to that reason, for them, they are not trading. They've just paused when this coronavirus thing starts reducing, or there's clarity in the market, then they can start or they can continue trading. And what I always say is that, well, it's true, volatility can make you lose money. And it's also the same volatility that's going to make you make money in the forex market. So I think volatility is a good thing, because if you place a trade and there is no volatility in the market, then that means there's no movement and you're not going to make any money on your trade. So you have to make good use of the volatility in the market and not to be afraid of the volatility, right? So I think if you are one of those people, this webinar is for you, and I think you can learn more in this session. Okay, so now there's also lockdown, right? There were lockdowns in Ghana. For Ghana in particular, I'm in Ghana as I speak right now. There was lockdown, but right now, most of our restrictions are eased. Even people do not wear nose masks and stuff when they step out. Okay, and when there were lockdowns and stuff, people couldn't go out to make transactions, go to school, go to work. And I mean, it's also one of the factors that really affected the economy and made most of the currency pairs, I mean, crash or, I mean, decline, right? So these are all factors that led to the, I mean, the high volatility in the markets. And okay, guys, in this season two, we are going to talk about things to look out for when you are trading during this pandemic season. These are some of the things you should look out for when you are trading during this coronavirus pandemic. Well, maybe your siblings or your friends and stuff, they are all, I mean, out of school at this moment because most schools are closed as of now. And now you are staying home with a lot of people. And I mean, people can be a very great distraction when it comes to making analysis in the market. So for me, for instance, I was just, I mean, I didn't really have a place or a trading room, right? I could just trade in the bedroom, or I could just trade in the living room or anywhere, right? But since I came down, I came to the country during the early months. I just created a trading room or a trading den for myself. That's where I'm having this webinar. And also, I also make my YouTube videos in this room. So this room is, I mean, is soundproof, right? And when I enter here, I get out from all distraction from the outside world. I lock myself in and I can have a sound mind to do my analysis. That's so important to have a very good environment, a sound environment to do your analysis. Is very important to me, and I think it could also be of help to you to get out from distraction and have a peace of mind and focus when you are doing your analysis or you are testing some of your strategies. Okay, and also, guys, during this coronavirus, I have this exercise and diet in my slide, and you're going to think that's, well, are we having a nutrition program here or something? Well, I think it's very important in exercise and diet cuts across all, I mean, industries or all sectors. And during this season, you have to have a balanced life and exercise and be healthy to be able to, I mean, have a sound mind to trade and emotions too. I mean, people are losing their jobs during this season. People are, I mean, are not making money as they used to make, and they are not free as they used to be. And because of that, it's going to affect you psychologically, and it could alter your emotions too. So guys, I hope all these, I mean, things do not affect you or hit you hard, and you can be emotionally strong to, I mean, face what's going on in the forex market. Over trading. When I talk about over trading, this is going to be a nightmare for most day traders. If you don't know what a day trader is, in one of my YouTube videos, I explain what type of trader you are. So you can just go and look it through, and you see I talk about scalpers, I talk about day traders, I talk about swing traders, and also position traders. Okay, so you should know the type of trader you are, whether you are a scalper, a day trader. But when it comes to over trading, it's going to be a nightmare for most scalpers and most day traders, because for day traders, maybe you were a student or you were a worker, and you were able to place about, I mean, 3 to 5 trades within a day. But since right now most people are home and you are home, you have a lot of time on hand and you're going to place a lot of trade because you think you are idle and the market is calling you. You've seen good setups. It's going to push you to place a lot of trades, and you have to be mindful of that because over trading can help you to also blow your account very fast. So you should look out for over trading too, guys. Just stay put in the later um, in the later minutes in this session, we are going to go into the strategy I use very soon. Just stay put and let's go through things you should look out for before we get into the real deal. Okay, okay. So what are some of the? It's left with two. So things you should look out for. These two are very important to me. These last two are very important to me. That's the news and a balanced life. Why am I talking about news? News is so important because during this corona season, most traders are trading based on fundamental analysis. And where are some places that you can find fundamental analysis? By watching the news. Okay, so recently, I think 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump had coronavirus, and it's really affected some stocks in the markets, right? Like the DOW, the Nasdaq, and stuff, and it really affected some currencies as well too. Okay, so if you are watching the news frequently, it can also help you to, make good fundamental analysis in the markets. It's very important. The S&P 500 also suffered from this bad news that happened in the US last 2 weeks of Donald Trump having coronavirus. So news is something you should look out for when you are trading during this coronavirus season. It's very important, guys. You should. I'm going to show you two sites that I do my fundamental analysis or where I read some news in the market. So the first one is FX Street, fxstreet.com. The first one is fxstreet.com, and the second one is Forex Factory, forexfactory.com, forexfactory.com, and the third one is investing.com, investing.com. So FX Street, forexfactory.com, and investing.com. Those are some sites you can, um, go there and read some news of some currency pairs or some commodities or some assets in the market, and based on that, you can place good trades and make good decisions in the forex markets. So those are some great places to do fundamental analysis. Okay, guys, let's go straight into the strategy, right? So there is this thing called shorting. Shorting. So if you've been able to join my webinars previously, I've been talking about long, short, and stuff. If we say long in the market, or you hear a trader saying, "I'm going long in the market," it means the trader is going to place an upwards or a buy trade toward. So he's placing towards the upwards direction. He's predicting the price or the asset he's trading is going to go up. So that's long. And when you hear short or someone says, "I'm shorting the market," then it means that the person is going to place a sell trade or is going to trade towards the downwards direction. So when I say shorten, right, I think it makes sense now. It means people are shorting the market. They are predicting that the market is going towards the downward direction or the market is going to decline. That's called shorting. Okay. So why do we short during this coronavirus season? Because we think most assets like what do we call it? The dollar has been also going towards a downward direction during this season. Okay, the dollar has been really falling since all this coronavirus started. So you can short the dollar, right? So these are some currency pairs that I really trade during this season. So when I'm shorting, I short the USD JPY, the USD CHF, and the USD Canadian dollar. Those are the three. Those are the three currency pairs I like shorting during this season. And when I'm going long, these are also the currency pairs I like to trade with when I'm going long. That's the GBP USD, AUD USD and the Euro USD. Those are also some three currency pairs. When I'm going long, I like to trade on. All right. So in just a second, I'm just going to open the charts for us to see why I trade the USD JPY and stuff during this season. Okay. So let's just go into our charts and see what we have there. All right, great. So this chart is GBP USD. That's not what we are looking for. Let's look for the USD JPY. Okay, the network is pretty slow today, but I hope you guys can still hear and see me clearly. And the network is bad, but okay, it just opened up. Right. So this is 2020. I just want to start the chart from 2020. Okay. So from all this region is from 2020 up till today. Okay. So this is the chart of the USDJPY, the US dollar, and the Japanese yen. That's the chart for it. And that's the chart you are seeing right on your screen. So you've seen that I've drawn a trend line or a channel towards this area, right? So what is the trend? If you were able to join our last week or our last 2 weeks webinar, you know what a trend line is now, and you know what a channel is now. So you see that it's a downtrend. It's a downtrend. That's why I short this currency pair during this season, because it's having a downtrend. That means the dollar is losing strength over the Japanese yen, right? The Japanese yen is gaining momentum over the dollar. And last week we talked about the base currency and the counter currency. I hope you also remember that the base currency is the USD and the counter currency or the course currency is the JPY. So in a chart like this, if you see it's declining towards the downwards direction, it means the Japanese yen is gaining strength, momentum over the base currency, that's the US dollar. All right, guys, that's a pretty fast overview for the short term. So let's also go into some currency pairs like the USD CHF, that's the US dollar and the Swiss franc. Let's see how it also looks like. There you go. So this even have a steep slope than the USD JPY. You see how it has been declining in 2020, right? So that's why I short the market. I short the USD JPY and the USD CHF during this season. Okay, let's see the last one. That's the USD Canadian dollar. Um, yes, there you go. You can see this is even a very deep slope than the other ones we saw, right? So from January, the coronavirus wasn't really there. From March, it started escalating, and now the dollar started losing momentum over other currencies. So you see how it has, been downtrending towards this season. Okay, so that's why, or that's one of the main reasons why I place a short trade on these currency pairs. But on the other hand, let's see something like the GBP USD, right? So someone is asking, what is stop loss in PIP average? Um, is it Christian? Christian, can you elaborate more on the question you are asking for me to understand what you are saying, right? And I hope it's about what we are learning today. Um, since I wouldn't like to deviate much from this topic we are talking about today. Okay, okay. So let's look at some other currencies like the GBP USD. Okay, here the GBP is the base currency. You can see how it's uptrending. Okay, so the GBP USD, the Euro USD, AUD USD has been uptrending towards this season. That means those currencies are gaining strength over the US dollar, right? That's why these charts are also going towards the upwards direction. Let's see the euro. The euro has been also going up during this season because the euro is gaining strength over the dollar. Let's see the last one. That's the AUD USD. Do I have it here? Okay, there we go. See how the AUD USD is also performing towards, or in this season it has also been going towards the upwards direction, and it has been an uptrend during this season. Let's look at some stocks, right? Though today we are not or we are not going to talk about stocks, but let's just see how stocks are also performing during this season. Let's see Zoom. During this coronavirus season, there are a lot of people, churches, schools, um, offices and staff are having meeting on Zoom, right? That means we should be expecting a rise of the price of Zoom during this coronavirus season. You can see how Zoom has been spiking, and you can see it was, I mean, how it flew during this area, right? So you can see how Zoom is also performing very good this season. So if you were lucky to buy some Zoom stocks in January, or I mean, in the early months, you can be making a lot of profit on your investments. I mean, during this season, right? Because people has been really using Zoom during this season, and you can really make money on these kind of stocks. Let's see Amazon, right? Let's see how Amazon is performing. All right, you see right here how Amazon is performing, because right now people can't really go to stores to buy stuff, and they'll be buying it online. So Amazon has really made money during this season. So the e-commerce sites are also really making money during this season. Let's see something like Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola has had a pretty great fall during February and March. So that was a time that we had most, I mean, lockdowns and most quarantines, right? So people weren't allowed to go out to, I mean, McDonald's, get Coke and stuff. So it also affected the Coca-Cola stock, and how, and now it has been consolidating a little bit around this area too. So without deviating much from this topic, let's go back on track and learn more about the shorting. Okay, okay. So shorting. Last week, no, that was last 2 weeks. We talked about some trend lines and some channels, right? So we talked about trend lines and channels. So let's go back to our USJPY and use that chat instead. Guys, at any point in time, if you have any question or any suggestion, you can just type it in the chat section or the questions and answers section, and I'll be glad to answer your questions as well too. Okay, Christian said greetings from Takwa. All right, greetings, sir, and I hope you are doing great as well. And thanks for joining this webinar too. And I hope every Thursday you're going to join the webinar as well for us to learn new things in the market. So, guys, we are still planning new topics to treat in the forex market. We are still planning new topics to treat every Thursday, right? So we are in collaboration with the M Trading Broker, and we are, I mean, preparing new topics and new strategies, new things to teach you every Thursday. So I'm actually talking about how we can have a webinar that I can use my phone to connect to my PC, so that I can see how I place trade with the MT4 application on my phone. And I hope during the subsequent webinars, we can be able to do that, and we'll see how we can place live trades with the phone as well. And I'm going to show you some really cool techniques and some really cool things or features in the phone MT4 that can be very, I mean, useful when you are placing trade in the forex markets. And I hope you are going to join the webinar every Thursday. All right. So is the YouTube working? Okay. So on YouTube too, we are broadcasting on YouTube as well, and you can. Okay. So I hear some people are asking questions on YouTube. Let me try to go on YouTube and. All right. So what's the question, Phil?
Can you only trade with $500?
So someone is asking whether we can only trade with 500. You can only trade with $500 during this season, or in the forex market? What's the question?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, you can trade with $500 in the market as a beginner trader, as a intermediate trader. $500 is a pretty decent amount to trade with, right? In the markets, yes, you can trade with $500 in the markets, and it all depends on the lot sizes you are using and the leverage you are using, right? So why do you think some brokers put on, all right, hold on 1 second. Let me see the questions that are coming on YouTube. So, and the person is also asking what is the best strategy to use when you invest or you are trading with $500. Well, when you are trading with $500 during this season, shorting can also be a great strategy for you to use to trade during this season. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about, and that's what we are still talking about in in this session. Okay, so you can do shorting with your $500 account during this coronavirus season, and you can make decent amount of profit in the market. So the next one we have is called the short squeeze. The short squeeze. But before I go into the short squeeze, I would like to show you some indicators I use in the market first before we go into the short squeeze. Okay, so this platform I'm using, in case you are wondering, is called TradingView, TradingView.com. It's a universal platform that you can just open and do your analysis. I don't trade on this platform. I just open to do my analysis, and now I can go into my MT4 or whatever I trade and place my trades. So this is a place I do my analysis, right? So it's purely for analysis for me. So right here is a demo. Account. I haven't subscribed for the paid membership. So right now on this trading view, I'm using the demo trading view, and they only allow you to use three indicators. Okay, three indicators. So most of the time, the indicators I use is the moving average. The moving average is my indicator that I really like using, and it really gives me a clear, big picture of how the market is going to react. And I also use what is called the awesome oscillator, the AO, the awesome oscillator, and I also use what is called the fractal. So these are the three indicators that I like using a lot. In my prep days of trading forex, I really explored and used a lot of indicators in the market, and I just go to settle on these three indicators, and I think they work best for me in the market. So it's up to you to test a lot of indicators and a lot of strategies in the market, and you get to know what your style is, and you get to know what indicators and strategy that works for you. Okay, we are all different people, and what works for me might not work for you. So it's very good you also test a couple of things in the market to see what works best for you. So because I'm only allowed to use three indicators on this trading view, when I'm using, these are all moving averages. So you can see a red line, a green line, and a yellow line. The three of them are called moving averages, but it's just one indicator, but I'm using three settings, right? So the red moving average is the 200 moving average. The green one is the 100, and the yellow one is the 50 moving average. And I use the red one to do, to look at the big picture of the market. I use the green one to look at the mid-term picture, and I use the yellow one when I'm day trading or I'm scalping in the market. I use it to look at the short picture of the market, right? So I would like to cancel, or I would like to remove some of these moving averages from my chart and replace them with the awesome oscillator, and show you how I also read my awesome oscillator. So I'm going to delete the red moving average. Okay, there you go. So the red moving average is gone. Let me see whether I can find. Okay, let me see whether I can find some some indicators. So awesome oscillator. I'm just looking for that. Okay, here we go. So I have it here. I have my awesome oscillator on my charts right now. So this is how it looks like. Okay, this is how the AO or the awesome oscillator looks like. This is how it looks like. Okay, that's what I have down here. I hope you guys can see it clearly, right? If you can see, let me know whether you can see my awesome oscillator clearly. And I hope to make this a little bit bold, so that you can see it well. Okay, so I'm making the lines thicker. All right, there you go, so that you can have a good view of it. Okay, so you can see for the candlesticks, we have red candlesticks and we have green candlesticks. And also for the awesome oscillator, we have the red awesome oscillator and we have the green awesome oscillator, right? And how do I use it when I'm shorting in the market? Okay, I'm going to show you how I use it when I'm shorting in the market. And I also use the trend line in combination of my indicators to short in the market. So right now, what we see right here is a big picture, or is a big, the picture of the trend line. Well, in this trend line, I can also try to indicate some short trends. Okay. All right. There you go. Um, yes. So this can also be a short-term trend. Okay, this can also be a short-term trend in the market. So you see right here, I'm trying to zoom in more for you to see how it looks like. Okay, there we go. So when I'm shorting in the market, I said I've been shorting the USD and the JPY currency pair during this season. And this is the reason why I short it. Because when the market is falling during this coronavirus season, when the market is falling, it falls, about 3 times faster than when it is rising. Okay, so when the USDJPY is falling during this season, it falls 3 times faster than when it is rising. So I want to make, or I want to capitalize on the falling prices, right? When it's falling, that's why I want to go into the market and make some profits. Because when it's rising, I can't really, stay in the market patiently enough for it to rise slowly. But when it's falling and it's falling faster, that's why I get into the market and place my trade, and I can take profit, on the go. Okay. So so this is how I trade. So you can see I have this small trend line over here. So I wait for 2 or 3 confirmations, and now I can enter into the market, right? So 2 or 3 confirmations and I enter into the market. So this is the first one. It pushed up and it touched the line. It came down. This is the first one. It came up again. It touched the line again and it's pulled down. So this is a third one. Okay, this is the third one. So the third one was on the 23rd April, right? So immediately it touches the line, then I can place my sell trade, because right now I've confirmed the trend line, right? I've confirmed the trend, and I know now it has hit its one. The second one and the third one should be a confirmation. Some traders like to go in for the fourth one, right? But sometimes for the fourth one, you can miss the move, or it can be reversing towards when it hits it's the first time. Some people would like to go in when it hits the second time, right? But for you to be sure and to be at a safer side, I wait for it to hit the trend line the third time, right? For me to place a sell trade in the market. So this is the first one. It's pushed up to this point. It came down. It's pushed up the second time. It came down. It's pushed up the third time, and now you place a sell trade right over here, and now you can make some profit on it. And when we try to also zoom in and look at the big term picture, we can also find the tops and downs, and we can also place the trade with a big term picture, guys. I would like you to know that we are on the daily chart, right? So every single candlestick you see here represents one day. Every single candlestick you see here represents 1 day. So when we are dealing with the big picture over here too, we can see that it's pushed up here, right? And it came down. That's one. It came down very hard. It pushed up again, two. It came. It came three. Three is wasn't able to hit the up bar, right? But it still reversed. And now it came towards this direction, and now it went harder and hit it for the fourth time. So the fourth time you can enter into the market and you can make some profit from all these fallen prices. You see how if you were able to place a trade, a sell trade on the 8th of June, you would have been able to make more profit on the subsequent days. You see, so you can wait for the third confirmation or the fourth confirmation, and now you can enter into the market. I also like to show you how to use my fractal, right? But I have to also remove some moving averages from my trade to be able to show you how the fractal looks like. So maybe when we have time to do purely technical analysis, I'm going to, use my phone instead, and I can put all the indicators on my phone and show you how I use the combination of my indicators. Well, as I would recommend, or as I would advise you, I advise you that you use your own indicators. But I also like to show you how I use my indicators, and if by chance it works best for you, you can also try to use my indicator as well. Okay, okay. So that's great. So, any questions for now? I'll be taking questions as this session is going through. Um, Phil, let me know um, if there is any questions coming from YouTube.
Joseph, Ajuma says, I like you.
He says, "I like you." Okay,
Yeah.
I like you too, Joseph. Um, I'm happy you guys joined this webinar, and I'm hopeful that you're going to join the subsequent webinars, that you're going to learn things that you might not know in the forex market. If even you are a beginner trader, you are intermediate trader, or even an advanced trader, I'm sure I might say one or two things you might not know in the market. So in the subsequent webinars, I would also like to talk about market making. I'm sure you've heard what market making is, how the big banks trade, how the Goldman Sachs they trade, how JP Morgan trade, how the PNC banks trade, right? And how the big institution trade for the retail traders like you and I to make losses. Okay, so they have a way of trading, all right, so that they can counter our movement so that we can make losses in the markets, and those institutions can make the money in the markets. All right. So in a subsequent trade, we talk about the MMT and stuff as time goes on, and you see how we can also think like the banks so that we don't fall into their traps and lose our trading account or blow our trading balance. Okay, so we have what is called the short squeeze. The short squeeze. So what is a short squeeze? If you have shorting, I'm sure you might be thinking that is there going to be a way? So Christian is asking, what is the best time to place a trade? Have I posted the video about time frames? I think it's on pending, right?
Yes, it's open.
So tomorrow morning, around 9 a.m., I'm going to post a video about the best time to trade, right? The best time to trade and the market sessions. I've already recorded that video, and tomorrow morning I have a lot of videos in pending. So I'll be releasing all those videos, and you'll see the best time you can trade in the market. Some people like to trade the market overlaps, right? When a session is closing and there's a new session opening, some people like to trade on the overlaps. Some people like to trade on the London session, the Asian session, the American session and stuff. And most of the time when I'm trading, I like to trade on the UK session, right? Or the London session. Because I wouldn't like to stay late at night to be placing trades. That was the prep days when I started trading forex. I couldn't sleep, and I'll always be in front of my screen, and I'll be looking for setups to place trades. But but I've got to a point that I've been adapted to the lending session, and most of the time I trade during the lending session since the Ghana time and the lending session are in sync. So most of the time I like trading and the lending session. Let me see whether I have any questions. So someone is asking when is going to be a webinar for stop loss and take profits. Let me see. Okay, so I think we have to also please note it down, right?
Okay.
Note it down and let's see whether we can also create a webinar about how we can set our stop losses and take profits the right way too. So Christian, it's noted, right? So thanks for giving us heads up, and we're going to prepare a webinar about that as well. Okay, so what is a short squeeze? A short squeeze. Well, I'm saying that when you are shorting, you take advantage of on the the falling prices of the currency pair you are trading. So when the market is falling three times faster than when it's rising, that's where I make money in this. Shorting strategy. Okay, and someone is saying, what if all of a sudden the market is downtrending and it just spikes up towards the upwards direction? You can lose all your money. It's true. That's why we have what is called a short squeeze, right? It's called a short squeeze when the market is going down harmoniously in a trend, when the market is downtrending, and all of a sudden there is a spike in the market, or there is a candlestick that goes or shoots up towards the upwards direction. It's called the short squeeze, right? And most of the time, it's the market makers or it's the banks that creates, this kind of, loopholes in the market for retail traders to lose money. Okay, okay. So let's look at how the short squeeze also looks like. Let's see. All right. So you can see right here that it's a downtrend, right? You can see how the market is downtrending, right? It's downtrending harmoniously, and all of a sudden there is a very long candlestick. So if the market hits this top and you place a down trade or a sell trade and you've made profits the first day, second day, third day, and even the fourth day, you see that the fifth day the market just pushed up, and now you can even blow your entire trading account because the what you were thinking is that the market is downtrending. So if even it's going to go towards the upwards direction, it wouldn't be much to just pull up a little bit and just continuously go towards the downwards direction. But all of a sudden, you don't know where that was from. The market just pushed up or spikes towards the upwards direction. And if your stop loss is tight, you can lose money or you can even blow your trading account. And you can see, after the short squeeze, the market still continued towards the downwards direction, and here too there was another squeeze here again, right? Because the market was about to continuously go down, and now the market just spiked towards the upwards direction. There's another squeeze too. So the squeeze makes traders lose money in the market. So if you are shorting in this season, you have to be cautious, because there's going to be a short squeeze at any point in time and you can lose your trading balance. So I like it very much when Christian asks where we're going to talk about the stop loss and the take profit order, because when we get to how to set your stop loss and take profit strategically, we will know where to set our stop loss so that when there's a short squeeze, all of a sudden we don't lose all our money and we can just lose a quite decent amount of money in the market. And we also learn how to lock in profits. You do know that as soon as you are in profits, you can adjust your take profits, right, towards the downwards direction, so that when you are losing money, and it hits that price, it just closes you in profit. So when you are making profits, you can just lock in profits, and if the market reverses on you, you are still not going to lose money. You are still going to make money. So in a subsequent webinars too, we are going to learn about um, how to place stop loss and take profits, and how to lock in profits. Okay, if you lock in profits, well, you can just close your trading accounts and just for days or even for months. You can choose not to even open your trading application because you're not going to lose money wherever the market goes. It's called locking in profits. As soon as you're in profit, that's where you can lock in profits. And however the market reacts, you are not going to lose even a penny when the market hits your locking profit limit, right? So when we get a chance to use the phone to place trades, we are going to learn about the locking in of profits as well. That people also call it the trailing stop, right? The trailing stop. We're going to learn how to use the trailing stop as well in the market. Okay, guys, at any point in time, if you have any questions, you can just ask and we can get going. I think we have 10 minutes left.
Is it
So I have to just speed up and okay, we are almost done.
YouTube? Question from YouTube.
There's a question from YouTube, right?
Do you have a WhatsApp group or Telegram group or Facebook to join?
Okay, so please put the Telegram channel in the group for us to for people to click on and join our Telegram group as well. Okay, and also well, guys, we also have M Trading. M Trading is sponsoring this session. All right, so you can also go online and go to YouTube and subscribe to M Trading Africa. M Trading Africa every week they put out a global market recap and show you what happened in the markets last week and what you should look out for when you are trading in that trading week, right? And that could be a very great source for your fundamental analysis as well too. So you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and also M Trading Africa YouTube channel, and you're gonna learn more from there as well. All right, guys. So what are some of the things in the markets during this season that can make the market move like crazy? It can make the market move like crazy. I hope you guys have heard what is called the NFP. NFP, that's the non-farm payroll. The non-farm payroll is also, a data or a news that is released every last day of the month to show, some statistics, how what's the standing of the country and people who are on payroll and people who are not on payroll, right? And that information also makes the market volatile as crazy. So most of the time, I like avoiding trading during that the last day or the last Friday of every month because that's where the NFP data is being published. And when you trade during those days, it can be a lot riskier than the normal days in trading Forex. So news can be a very great catalyst for the market movements during this season. So you should also be going to FX Streets, forexfactory.com, investing.com, and be looking at the economical calendar. If you go to FX Streets or investing.com, go and look for calendar, right? Economic calendar. So for the economic calendar, it shows you the lineup of news that is about to come, and they show you the intensity of the news, whether the news is going to be very important, or it's slightly important, or it's not, it's just information that they're giving out. And if the news is very important and it's marked red, it means that it can have a significant effect on the currency you are trading, and you have to be cautious when you are trading on that day. So you can also look into the economical calendar of on these sites I've also talked about, and also technical patterns. Okay, so for technical patterns too, we talk about technical analysis. So technical patterns can also be, a great way for the market to, react very badly or reacts very goodly. It depends on what situation you are in, or it depends on where you trade you place your trade. So, guys, during this session, if you had any question you didn't have the time or the opportunity to ask, this is time for you to ask all your questions, and I can be able to answer you. And if there is also a suggestion, you can also put inside the chat or the questions and answers section, and we are going to answer your question for you as well too. Waiting for that, I'll be talking about the long, right? So in 2020, gold had its all-time high. Gold had its all-time high, and there is this famous author, right, called Robert Kiyosaki, and he has been buying gold since he was young, right? Since he was in his 20s. And I mean, he has really made a lot of money during this coronavirus season because during this season, gold has hit its all time high. All right. So if you are looking for currency pairs that you can go long on during this Corona season, or the currency pairs that are performing well during this Corona season, these are the currency pairs that the GBP USD, the Euro USD, the AUD USD, the gold, and the NZD USD. So if you are looking to go long in the markets, you can also use the same shorting strategy I showed you, reverse it towards the long direction and place your trades. And guys, you have to test this strategy, right? You have to test it with a demo account so that you don't lose money and be sure of what you are doing and be sure you are not gambling with your money as well. So I missed out one thing, right? There is this movie called the Big Shot. The Big Shot. So for the movie lovers, if you have a time on at hand, you can just go to Netflix or wherever and I mean watch the Big Shot. The Big Shot is a movie that talks about how someone was able to predict the 2008 real estate crash. The real estate market crashed in 2008, and around 2006 this person, it was, I mean, a CEO of what's it called, a hedge fund, and he has been saying the market is going to crash, the market is going to crash. No one was really, I mean, listening to him. They thought he was crazy. And 2008 the market really crashed, and he really made billions on his investment or the hedge fund, right? So it's an interesting movie about trading, and if you have time you can also watch that movie as well. Well, M trading has a very cool method of depositing money, right? So if you deposit money, if you are looking to deposit money on M Trading Broker, you can go to GT Bank and do a deposit. You can also use mobile money, MTN mobile money, to also do your deposits and withdrawal. And deposit and withdrawal are instant, right? I mean, they happen really fast. If you do your deposits, it happens fast. And if when you make profits and want to do your withdrawal, they also make your withdrawals for you also fast. And if you open an account with M Trading, you get 200% on your first deposits, right? 200% bonus on your first deposits you make with the M Trading broker. And guys, if there is no question, is there any question from YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, if there is no question from YouTube and there is no question from Zoom as well, I'd like to thank all of you for joining this webinar. I'd like to thank you for joining this webinar, and we are going to meet next week again. And next week, what's the topic about? Next week, we're going to talk about how to psychology of trading, right? How to be psychologically fit during this season, and how to create a trading plan. How to create a trading plan. That's very important. You need a trading plan to trade in the forex market. So next week, that's what we are going to treat. And I hope you guys are going to also join this webinar, and we're going to learn a lot from this webinar as well. Well, guys, I was able to learn this. I was able to learn forex trading about, I mean, 5 or 6 years ago, and before even entering the university, right? And I mean, it has helped me a lot in a lot of ways. And I think, I mean, people in Ghana also need good education on forex trading because people are selling forex education or forex stuff for a very, I mean, insane and crazy amounts of money. And most of the time, if you buy these courses, they just give you the PDFs. They don't even meet with you. I mean, you read and you don't understand. And I think this is a great way to also, I mean, give back to people in my country and give free education as well too, right? Right, guys. And I hope everyone had or learn something from this session. So, without further ado, if there's any
I
other question,
think
I'll
there's
be
a
taking.
question. Please, what's this class? What days do you have your classes?
So every Thursday, and 8 to 9 p.m. we have a webinar, and sometimes the webinar can, extend throughout 9 to somewhere 9:20, right? And this webinar is broadcasted on the Zoom platform and also YouTube, right? So if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you're gonna get a notification every time we are having a webinar. Yes. Let me see what we have. All right. So, Pap C, thanks to for joining this webinar, and every one of you who joined this webinar. I would like to thank you a lot for joining with this webinar, and I hope to see you next week. Until